And you going, I'm a vegan, Mr. Moose. That moose don't give a fuck. That moose will kill you.
That moose thinks, regardless of whether or not you do, in fact, eat meat or use animal products, he thinks you are there to kill him. And he will do everything in his power to survive, up to and including kill you. And those fuckers hit like a goddamn freight train.
And you want to know something really fucking crazy? A moose kick has enough strength in it to shatter a bear skull. Your head is not a bear skull.
Now, if you're watching this and you do a little bit of hunting, then you probably know that they tell you never, ever try to shoot a bear in the head. For those of you who don't, they say that because a bear's skull is extremely thick, and unless you have a massive caliber rifle, then you're not going to do anything by shooting a bear in the head, other than piss it off and make it want to kill you more.
Yeah, unless you could somehow get that motherfucker through the eye, which, good luck with that.
Now, if a moose kick has enough force to shatter a bear's skull, what's going to happen when that little hoof connects with your chest? Everything inside of there is going to collapse.
Yeah, and a strong enough punch to the chest has the potential to give you a heart palpitation. So imagine a fucking kick that, and there are videos of this online, that can fucking flip a goddamn pickup truck. I don't know if you've ever tried to pick up a pickup truck. Those fuckers are kind of heavy. And when you're watching these riot videos, when they're flipping these cars, and these are small cars, about half the size of a pickup truck, it's like 20 dudes rocking a car back and forth for a while before they build up enough momentum to flip it. A moose can do that to a pickup truck in one kick.
You're not going to stand a chance, I promise.
So, anarchy, out the fucking window, because you will die. Every one of you will fucking die. Okay? And on top of that, another thing I want to kind of touch on is this whole Women's March thing. And as if we weren't, walking on fucking broken glass with bare feet anyway by saying the shit we're saying right now, I'm going to come out and say, if you participated in the Women's Right March that took place, less than a month ago?
I'm not sure on the date on that one.
If you participated in that, you're fucking retarded. Women in America have more rights than men. Women in America have more rights than guns. So stop waving your stupid fucking signs out that say one day I hope my vagina has as many freedoms as guns. There was a video that a dude did, and it got taken off of YouTube because a bunch of people got offended by it. A man got his girlfriend, I think it was his girlfriend. It was either his girlfriend or his wife. And he was like, okay, what's going to happen today is we're going to act like my girlfriend is a gun. She's going to have all the same rights and privileges as a gun. And she was one of these people that was like, oh, I wish my vagina had the same rights as a gun, blah, 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 blah. And so the guy's like, all right, we're going to go around town and we're going to act like we have the same, you are the exact same as a gun. So they're walking downtown and she goes to grab his hand and he steps away from her and throws his hands up. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I can't hold you in my hands. We're outside. What do you mean? I mean, I can't walk down the street with a gun in my hand. That's illegal. So since you have all the same rights as a gun, I can't hold your hand. Okay. They had to deliver a package. So they go to the post office, and he goes, hey, you have to wait out here. Why? Because you can't bring a gun into a federal building. So she's sitting outside for an hour and a half or some shit like that. He comes out and she's pissed. She's like, oh, none of this is true. The guy shows her a fucking sign on the door that says no guns allowed. So they're walking and a cop fucking stops him for some reason. And the dude immediately goes into his wallet and pulls out a card. And this is a card that he made up. And he's like, I've got a registration for her. And the cop's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And the guy's like, he explains it to the cop that he was doing this with his girlfriend. And he's like, yeah, so I've got a registration for her. You know, I've got all my paperwork. Here's all my identification. And the cop's like, all right, well, since you're going to act like, you know, she's a gun, I have to do what I would do if she was actually a gun. I have to run these registration numbers. So the cop leaves, and he sits in the car for a second, and he acts like he's running the registration numbers, and he comes back out, and he goes, I need you to turn around and place your hands behind your back. And the guy's like, why, officer? And he's like, well, your girlfriend's registration numbers are expired. So you're going to prison. You illegally have a gun right now. Or you illegally have a girlfriend right now. So the cop's like, now I have to seize her, and I have to take you downtown, and you have to be processed and booked. So the cop puts him in the back, and he drives them to the station, and they get out, and they go through the whole thing. Legitimately go through the whole process you would have to go through if your registration for having that gun expired. Goes through the whole thing, and the cop fucking puts him in the cell. And the guy's sitting there in the cell with a dude who was picked up for, I don't know, like weed or some shit. There's a couple other dudes, and they're like, oh, what are you in for? And he's like, my girlfriend's registration expired.
I want to see how that conversation went in the fucking cell there.
Well, I think, if I remember correctly, what happens is the screen blacks out, and it says, like, a couple hours later, he paid the bail. And he paid the bail willingly. The police were going to just let him go, but he paid the bail. And he's like, all right, so since it was on the same level as a gun crime, my bail was, I think it was like $600, and I have a court date. And they did everything the way that they needed to do if it was an actual crime. And they get back, and they're sitting in front of the video, and the girl goes, I'm so fucking glad my vagina is not regulated like guns. And it's like, gee, I wonder why. And then, one of the dumbest things I've heard is these people who are like, oh, you know, a bunch of old white men are sitting up in Congress making legislation for my vagina. None of them have a vagina, blah, 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 blah. Well, these are the same motherfuckers you're asking to pay for your goddamn birth control.
Mm-hmm. But I think one of the most popular things that I hear about is the wage difference between men and women. In my personal experience, I've never met a female that was doing the same job as me that got paid less than me.
There's actually a very good reason for that.
However...
Wait, there's a very good reason you've never seen a woman get paid less than a man for doing the exact same job.
Oh yeah, because there is no wage gap.
Yeah, because a wage gap is against the fucking law.
Yeah. It is illegal to change someone's pay based off of sex, race, religion, handicap, what have you. But one of the funniest things I've ever seen is currently in my class, I'm going to school for airframe and power plant degree and certification, which it's basically a mechanic for an airplane. That's basically what I'm going to school for right now. There's one female currently in my class, and she used to be a restaurant manager or like a fast food man. She was a manager at some sort of food place. And we actually had this kind of discussion while we were sitting in class one day, and she said, well, I think it's kind of bullshit about the whole wage gap thing, not because they're doing the same job and getting paid less, because technically they're not doing the same job, and maybe they are getting paid less for doing less work. And she goes on to tell us about a time where she got into the same conversation with one of her female employees who was a big social justice warrior. She wanted to close the wage gap, this, that, and the other thing. And she's like, oh, well, you're taller than me, so can you get that box down from up there? Relatively heavy box of some sort. I'm not sure on the details. She's like, oh, well, I'm not strong enough to do it, or some other sort of excuse. Points. I'm too busy, is what she said. I'm too busy. I have to go do something else right now. Looks over at one of her male employees and says, "Hey, can you get that down for me real quick?" Drops what he's doing, goes, grabs the box, gives it to her, walks away. And my classmate looks over at her female employee and said, "See, you're not doing the same work," and walks off.
Huh. Weird. Also, that law, Equal Pay Act of 1963, signed into law by President John F. Kennedy on June 10th, 1963, makes it illegal to pay. In passing the bill, Congress stated that sex discrimination depresses wages and living standards for employees necessary for their health and efficiency, prevents the maximum utilization of the available labor resources, tends to cause labor disputes, thereby burdening, affecting, and obstructing commerce, burdens commerce and the free flow of goods in commerce, and constitutes an unfair method of competition. No employer having employees subject to any provisions of this section shall discriminate within any establishment in which such employees are employed between employees on the basis of sex by paying wages to employees in such establishment at a rate less than the rate at which he pays wages to employees of the opposite sex in such establishment for equal work on jobs, the performance of which requires equal skill, effort, and responsibility, and which are performed under similar working conditions, except where such payment is made pursuant to a seniority system, B, a merit system, C, a system which measures earnings by quantity or quality of production, or D, a differential based on any other factor than sex. So it's literally illegal for someone to pay you less because you're a man or a woman. And a lot of people have come to the defense of this and saying, oh, well, it's illegal to do cocaine. Guess what happens if you get caught doing cocaine?
You go to jail.
You go to prison. Guess what happens if you get caught paying people less because of their gender?
I'm assuming the same.
Prison.
Yeah.
So, the gender wage gap does not exist because it is illegal for it to exist. It is also commonly stated that the gender wage gap does not take into account the amount of overtime that someone works, the willingness of someone to take another person's shift, time off, and the fact that once women have children, they are statistically more likely to quit their jobs and leave the workforce. So yeah, over a lesser amount of time, women will make less money than men. But guess what? Over a lesser amount of time, men will make less money than women. If you've got someone who's been at your company for 15 years, knows their shit, knows everything they're doing, and a motherfucker comes in, been there 15 days, doesn't know shit, but starts screaming about discrimination, you're going to want to slap that little prick upside their fucking head. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they're talking bullshit. And that's all this is. It's just people spouting bullshit. It's this fake narrative that seems to exist nowadays for some stupid fucking reason. And it's honestly one of the most bullshit, stupid things ever. We are literally in an area of time where people, they're admitting that the shit that they're writing is fake. Post-truth, people hop on the reality train.
We actually got quite a lot of room on here, so feel free.
Yeah. I mean, reality's a big motherfucker. You can all come onto it. Here's the thing, okay? Here's another little interesting tidbit for you, okay? If you're so hard-pressed to eliminate the gender wage gap, why the fuck are you fighting to prove that it exists when it's been proven that it doesn't? Shouldn't that make you happy?
Because it hurts their feelings.
Fuck your feelings.
I'm
going out on right now.
That's mean. That's mean. You're being mean to me.
Every one of you motherfuckers in the world can quote me on this, and you can say whatever the fuck you want about this. Fuck you and your feelings.
You heard it here first, folks.
Boom. I don't give a damn about your feelings, okay?
Life sucks. Reality sucks. The world sucks. Deal with it.
Yep. Sitting in a puddle and fucking crying is not going to get a damn thing done. Buck the fuck up and fix that shit. Okay? Anyway, this seems about the time where we're running out of steam, so what do you think? Call it an ending here?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it.
Alright, well, fucking...
Just
stop being
remember,
stupid,
we
everyone.
do want to hear your opinions. Let us know. Talk to us in the comments. Hell, we might invite you to be on the show as a guest. That's what this
Not only
show
that-
is here for.
Not only that, follow us on Twitter, Facebook. The link's in the description. Fucking write us. Call me an asshole. Call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm not gonna censor you.
And if
I'm
you
gonna use
really
sounds.
like calling us assholes, hey, give the video a like, comment down below, and call us assholes. Give us a subscription so you get notified every time a video pops up, and you can continue to call us assholes. Fuck, I don't
Yes.
care.
If your only purpose on here is to call us an asshole, hey, welcome to the fucking comment section. Alright? Feel free to call me an asshole as many times as you want.
Trust
'cause
me,
you know
you're
what?
not going to be the first one to call either one of us an asshole.
And you're not gonna hurt our feelings, okay? I wake up every goddamn morning, look at myself in the mirror, and go, "You're an asshole." I'm the first motherfucker to do it to myself every goddamn day. So, hop on the train. It's a crowded car, okay? Anyway, stay calm, my gentle beasts. Enjoy life. Stop getting offended by stupid shit. Peace.